The season for elected officials to give their yearly State of the Speeches is wrapping up. Governor Mike DeWine did it last week, and mayors around Ohio have been doing so as well. They've been talking up business growth, new housing, and infrastructure projects, but also sharing their concerns about public safety, addiction, immigration, and environmental issues. The bipartisan group of 30 mayors of the state's largest cities, known as the Ohio Mayors Alliance, said in a statement after DeWine's State of the State speech that they were encouraged by his emphasis on kids, and added, quote, "We must work together to address some of the most serious issues facing our youth, such as gun violence, addictive tobacco products, mental health, and early childhood education." I talked to two of those mayors this week after their annual luncheon event with state lawmakers. Let's start with home rule. It's come up with the ban on flavored tobacco bans that the legislature passed. It's also been in lawsuits over local gun restrictions, traffic cameras, marijuana, budgeting. I want to ask you both, how do you feel about your relationship with the legislature and it comes to home rule? So, Mayor, let's start with you.
Sure. We have been, over the course of time, our standing with the legislature relative to home rule has been in different places at different times. So in 2017, Dublin was the lead on litigation with the legislature regarding easements and our ability to own, operate fiber in those easements and who could place what in easements. So we had the good fortune of partnering with, I think there was 114 different entities that conjoined with the city of Dublin on this litigation. And we were fortunate that it was ruled in our favor. And so I think that gives us a little bit of a voice to the legislature to say, these are the things that fundamentally we should be permitted to do. These are home rule issues. If relative to the charter of the state of Ohio, that already outlines what we can and can't do, the subject matter. And so, but as of recent, we've had the setback with tobacco.
And Dublin is part of that
lawsuit. We are part of that
over that legislation, and so is Toledo.
Yes, and so, that is one that really, I think the state set out to try to protect young people, perhaps, but maybe didn't realize that there was already greater protection in some municipalities than what they were providing. And so really it stripped away our rights to protect our young people and to regulate that in our community. So it certainly ebb and flow.
Well, let me bring you into this conversation here. Your thoughts, especially since you're a Democratic mayor dealing with a Republican-dominated legislature.
Well, my thoughts would be the same regardless of what my party would be. And actually, one of the things that mayors believe is that ours is a fundamentally apolitical job. There's a great line from Fiorello LaGuardia, the old mayor of New York City, that potholes aren't partisan. In other words, there's no Republican Party way to plow snow. There's no Democratic Party way to fill a pothole. Mayors see problems and we just have to solve them. It's sometimes as places like Columbus or Washington where ideology can get the better of us. And in this case, that's what I worry is happening. Frankly, since you mentioned the partisan makeup of our current legislature, home rule and the notion of government, the best government being the government closest to the people, is a fundamentally conservative, if not Republican idea. The quote I just referenced is Thomas Jefferson. The government closest to the people is that which best serves the people. And we only have home rule in the state of Ohio because of the actions of Republican President Theodore Roosevelt, who in 1912, while running for president as a bull moose, came to Ohio as part of that convention and made sure that conservative principle was embedded in our Constitution. So somehow this bedrock conservative value has been usurped, I guess, by different partisan values. Regardless, it's water under the bridge. What I believe, is that we need partners to solve the problems that cities face. Sometimes we need partners, and the legislature can be a great partner. But sometimes, this actually is not even a criticism, sometimes the legislature tells us, no, funding is going to go down. Everyone knows local government funds have been cut drastically. Just in Toledo, in the last 15 years, we haven't been reduced thousands or tens or hundreds of tens of millions of dollars cut from our local government fund. And to that I say, okay, that's fine. Provided you then let us solve our own problems with our own creative solutions. You can't come at us both ways. You can't cut tens of millions of dollars of local government funds and say, nope, you're going to have to solve your problems with your own, creative pluck and stick-to-itiveness, and then also take away our ability to solve our problems locally. It really is, it's not a very intellectual term, it really is just unfair. And so mayors who fundamentally aren't partisan, we're fundamentally just trying to solve problems, we need help solving problems, and this encroachment into home rule makes it difficult.
I want to transition from that to marijuana and how